Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is purely to talk about the latest Nintendo Direct. Used to do this every once in a while back in the day to kind of chat about video games and Nintendo back in the day when they were just launching the Switch. I think was the last time I talked about this. Before I give some of my feedback, I just another plug for Avius. The IP and Discord link are down below in the description. Hey guys, we have been maxing out the server on weekend nights, filling it up, and pretty steady group. I think we've had almost 100 folks, unique players, join so far in the month that the map has been online. So it's coming along great, and we finally have a few towns. So we have people that have mastered all of the individual classes now. And have picked their master rank, and a few folks have started a town or a fiefdom, one of which is finally starting to sell some land to players. So the server's really starting to move forward now, and we hope to continue to have a good flow of new players onto the server. So go check out the server if you want to come play some Minecraft this weekend. So this is meant to be more of a podcast where you can just sort of listen to it, not necessarily have to watch. I'm just going to be playing on this single player world and this amazing, incredible seed. Just so that there's something going on if you are sort of paying attention. But otherwise, this is meant to just be listening. As you guys know, I'm a big Nintendo fan. The other Let's Plays I've done outside of Minecraft have pretty regularly been just typical Nintendo stuff. Animal Crossing, of course, is my biggest franchise. I think I've played Pikmin on here. I have to go back and look. I feel like I did Let's Plays of Pikmin, maybe Pikmin 2. But maybe I didn't. I know that I have 100% played Pikmin 1 and 2, and Pikmin 3. I did all of them in a row because I found them like at the used game store for super cheap on their Wii version. So on the Wii U, I played 1, 2, and 3, and then replayed 3 again when they put it on the Switch because I was an idiot and bought the freaking game again. I really shouldn't have done that, but anyway, I'm really happy they're having a Pikmin 4. It was cool to see them open with it. The game looks good. Looks like they'll have some new little features, but it's still traditional Pikmin. Looks like the caves will be back. I think with the first Pikmin game, of course, it's kind of more of like a prototype of the GameCube, I think. And then Pikmin 3, they were both fairly short games. I always think that Pikmin 2 was the biggest game because of the caves, because you had the same amount of worlds, but when you went down in the caves, some of them took multiple attempts to complete and added some more depth to it. So I'm happy to see the game be a little bit bigger. I would really like the Pikmin game to be a long, more in-depth game than something you can just beat in 10 hours in a weekend. So I'm excited to see that. I think that the actual trailer they showed for the game was pretty bad. I mean, the music sounded Pikmin, but and they showed off a couple new features, but Pikmin's always been this small little niche, and I think once again they did a terrible job at showing new players what Pikmin is, why it would be fun, and why you should buy it. If you were a Pikmin fan, you saw that went great. There's some new Pikmin coming, some new features. I'm going to buy it. But if you're not a Pikmin fan, and haven't played the games before, then you were probably confused and very uninterested in that. They didn't really explain anything. I'm thinking back to like the Animal Crossing trailer, or what's another recent one, or the Zelda trailers, that they really don't think did a good job showing off or explaining the game. So I was a little disappointed in that. I know it's not coming out until July, so I'm sure we'll see a Pikmin Direct or some more details on that, but it'll be great that they'll come out in July. It'll be a great game to play this summer. It looks like they teased the one with the little glowy stones on the ground. It looks like that was probably a multiplayer challenge map because they were all over the map. So I'm imagining that some sort of multiplayer version is coming back. It would be really great if it was online. I can't believe that like Pikmin 3 had multiplayer, but it was still mostly just co-op on your couch. I want to be able to play online challenge maps with people. So Pikmin's always been a single-player game, and I think it's fine like that, but if you're going to have these challenge stuff, just make it play online. So hopefully Nintendo did that. Otherwise, Xenoblade. I have been playing Xenoblade 3, so really Xenoblade is not a game series I would normally play, and way back in the day, back in the YouTube days, I was watching Chuck Conroy play the first one, and I got like halfway or two-thirds through his Let's Play, watching him do that, 10 years ago, and of the original Xenoblade Chronicles. And then I decided, this looks like a game I would probably play, but it was expensive and hard to find for the Wii. So when they relaunched it on the Switch, and I didn't get it for the 3DS either, because who wants to play a game like that on handheld? But when they put it out for the Switch, the definitive edition with that epilogue, I went out and bought it, and it took me a year, but after a couple hundred hours, I beat the game and and the the epilogue, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. The game is complicated, of course, but a lot of the complicated factors in that game I was able to just ignore. Like, I didn't really do anything to do with gem crafting. There's a lot of parts of the game where if you understand it and do it, it makes the game easier and faster, but you don't have to do every extra thing that they have in the game. That you can still get through the game just by doing the simple stuff. So the storyline, the music, the graphics, the environment, it's just incredible. It's a fantastic game. I'm sure many of you have now played it since it has been on the Switch. I never got the second one or have played the second one because I just didn't seem interested in the storyline or the characters. Um, so I haven't played the second one. But for whatever reason, when the third one came out, it was right when I had just moved and um, needed a new game to play because I didn't really have a permanent place to live, so I always had to kill some time in the evenings in my little like studio I was living in for a few months. And I went ahead and bought the third one because I had just finished the first one not too long ago. And the storyline of the third one, with the way they had shown it in the trailers, the storyline seemed interesting to me, and the characters seemed more interesting to me. So I ended up buying Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and then bought the DLC, did like the whole package. I think I'm like halfway through it, but I might not even be that far through it. I put in, dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. I haven't played it in a little while. I think just like the first one, I go through phases where I play a lot of it and then I don't, and I play a lot of it and I don't. But again, the storyline's been great. The music and the characters are great. I probably have to go back and give the second one a chance, but I'm really enjoying the third one. So, of course, new DLC coming. Great. Happy to play that when it does come out, to add that and get me back into playing it for a little bit. So, looking forward to that. A lot of Japanese games that I won't play, they advertised. The Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, I don't think anyone gives a crap about Game Boy games. I mean, why do I need to pay money to play those and not even really own them? I mean, the fact that we had to wait to get some of these like old few games that they're launching, I just don't for the online store. I don't really care. Game Boy Advance, great. I think that's got some more depth to it, and there's a couple games on there that are good. But um, I've also played them all a million times and played them on the 3DS. Like most of those are the same games they launched on the 3DS when they had the ambassador program for all the people that bought it when it was too much money. So I don't really care about either one of those, and frankly, I don't care about NES or SNES games either. I cared about the N64, and I have played several of those N64 games, and I'm waiting for them to add Banjo-Tooie. Obviously, I haven't seen any sign that they're going to do that. Banjo-Kazooie was fantastic to play on the Switch and handheld, and I would kill to have Banjo-Tooie on there as well. An even longer game, more in depth, more details, more things to collect. Please add Banjo-Tooie to the N64. But I think the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, for me, it's whatever. I'm sure there's people out there that are excited to see that, but I just get a little frustrated with these Nintendo Online thing because I don't actually own them. You have to have a subscription to play them. And they only add so few games and they drip them out so slow. Like, why do I need one Game Boy Advance game a month to like keep adding these new ones? I mean, just I can go on my computer and play a ROM and play any of them anytime I want, or I can actually, for something like the 64, break out my 64 and play all of those games. The fact that it's just so slowly drip fed and so many games are left out is what's frustrating to me. It would be a lot better if, to my opinion, if they just either made you kind of own them, or like here's the core ones, but if you want these extra ones, you can buy them. Um, or if there's one from the collection you want to buy for $2.99, you can keep it. But I just want them to add more games. I hate how stingy they are with not putting every game out there and letting you play all of these games. So to me, that's the most frustrating part is that you have to wait 7 years to get maybe your game will be added to the list. But if it's not your game added to the list, then you still have to go play it on your old system or emulate it. So to me, that's the most frustrating part. And of course, I know everyone wants a GameCube games. People talk about how the Switch can't really play GameCube games or handle it very well, and using your Dolphin emulator now on the Xbox, it is a little disappointing that we don't have GameCube games yet. It seems like we probably never will because I think that's just like they're too big of a game, but they could still sell GameCube games on the eShop. And the eShop is still freaking terrible. I go on there, I can't navigate it, it's awful. So this part of it always frustrates me from Nintendo. I just get frustrated thinking about the online deal. So you won't find me. I'll download them, the Game Boy games, but you won't find me playing it. I'll wait for them to announce, if they want to put Pokemon Ruby and Emerald on the Game Boy Advance, and they want to put a few other higher profile games, then I'll be all about playing those on my Switch, and it'd be great. Even if I don't need to have connectivity or the ability to even trade with other players or connectivity with other players, whatever. I'd just be great to play them, but I know that would never happen. So those games they're worth too much money just to drop them in on there. So anyway, new Mario Kart courses, great. I don't play Mario Kart anymore, but it's cool that they're making this the definitive edition without launching a brand new one that everyone has to buy that has some new gimmick in it. So I'm fine with them adding new courses, especially brand new ones like that. It's great. And new characters. Continue to do that. That's exciting. Metroid Prime, lots of folks are excited about that. I really think it's cool that Nintendo just dropped it and said it's available today. I wish they did stuff like that more often for a lot of these older games or remakes or smaller franchises rather than doing these big hype trains. But obviously, you need to build hype so that people buy it and download it, and you have to advertise the game. Otherwise, you may not get as many sales. But this was something that was rumored forever. It's cool that it came out. I'm not a Metroid fan. I have never played Metroid games before Metro Prime. If I, for some reason, have all this extra money and really bored and don't have a game to play, which doesn't ever happen, I would buy it and try it. But otherwise, I'm not interested in that. But I see it's great that they did that because Metroid Prime 4 is still nowhere to be found for all of those fans. I do feel for them. What else? A bunch of small stuff. I guess I can talk about Zelda at the end. I was playing a little Breath of the Wild a couple weeks ago, and the game is great. I've just spent so many hours, a few hundred hours, in the original when it launched, playing Breath of the Wild, and then playing it again through hard mode. So I'm just burnt out. Like I play that game, and I'm like, it's great, but for some reason, I don't enjoy playing it a second time, and I also get scared of how much of a commitment it is for the hours it takes to play through that game. So I haven't touched it. Given that the new one's coming out in May, I wouldn't even have time to beat the other one again. So the Breath of the Wild before the new one. So I'll just hold out till I play Tears of the Kingdom. Of course, I'll buy it. I hear that it's going to be $70. I'm not surprised if they wanted to make that one game $70. But it is a little disappointing to see that all of the games now seem like they're going to be $70. Although everything in the world has got more expensive, as everybody knows, so I guess we were all just expecting this to happen at some point. Why not start it? I wish I would have pre-ordered it at $60 before this point. So it's coming around the corner. Again, I think the trailer was really lacking. It seemed like there was just a few gimmicks in there, and I still don't really understand the storyline or how this is different. I'll kind of be a little annoyed if I'm like, well, I beat Ganon, how is he coming back? And now we're in the sky, but I'm sure that will all be explained. So, again, I think that trailer could have been a little bit better and put together, a little bit more epic like the trailers for the first game, but we'll see. My one disappointment was hearing the voice acting. I get that they want to, I guess, keep the same voices from the first game. I think the voice acting was terrible in the Zelda Breath of the Wild, and hearing like what was probably Ganon's voice in there, I was like, God, this is like the cheesiest, awful sounding voice acting again. So I guess they're not increasing their budget or wanted to change characters from the first one to keep it all lined up. So we'll have cheesy voice acting. But at the end of the day, there wasn't a ton of cutscenes in the first one, so it was a very small part of the game. Even though it was impactful when you had the cutscenes, maybe it won't be much different for this one. So we'll see. Um, we'll see how that works out. Um, a couple maybe disappointments that we still haven't seen. The new Hollow Knight. Why we haven't seen that and that hasn't come out yet is kind of perplexing. Keep waiting to see that. It's something I would buy and play, and I think a lot of folks would as well. So kind of bummed to not see that. Um, I'm not expecting to see Animal Crossing. I always want more Animal Crossing. I've never really made a video to talk about New Horizons and my disappointments with it. I'm one of those cranky fans that was so hyped for the game, and the game was so fantastic for the first couple of months I was playing it, but found that it really lacked um, after it opened up. Um, so I'm, of course, I want a spin-off Animal Crossing or more DLC or something. I know that's just not going to happen, but if putting the Animal Crossing on the N64 or putting the GameCube one on there, even if it doesn't have online adaptations, I think will just be amazing. I wish Nintendo would acknowledge the Animal Crossing GameCube versions, the three of them that exist out there. I wish that they would do that. One day I'll record a video on here of my Animal Crossing E Plus because they do have that patch, the translation patch, and I've been playing that since June. I started that town, June. I haven't really played it since the start of this year, and I'm going to catch back up on it. But I really enjoy it, and I wish Nintendo would acknowledge that those Animal Crossing versions exist. But I feel like they never will because the villagers are too mean, and they would have to redo all this dialogue. And I think that people would be offended by that game, or Nintendo thinks that anyway. So, of course, I want to see Animal Crossing, but I know we're not going to see anything in the directs. So Pikmin is what the focus is now. So yeah, I really don't care about a lot of the stuff in between, but there was definitely more surprises and great stuff in that Nintendo Direct than I think they've done in a while. So I really enjoyed watching it. Looking forward to Zelda. Looking forward to Pikmin. Some great stuff to play this upcoming summer. And in the meantime, I'm playing Minecraft and catching up on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And probably not playing New Horizons. I have not touched that game in a year. So after my first town and all the DLC came out, I kind of finished that, almost 100%ed a lot of this stuff. And then I made a new town to play with my friends and to replay it because the game is different now from the start than it was when it launched. Because they've added so much new stuff. I mean, literally, there's some key things that are very different about starting up a town now that the DLC is out. So it's a different experience at the start, and I played through it. But I never really got the urge to 100% it again and kind of just lost interest because of lots of issues I have. And maybe I'll make a video that's like my review of New Horizons all these years later, and what I think they should do with Animal Crossing in the future. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the Direct. Let me know what yours are. If there was a game that I didn't care about that you think I should, that you enjoy that you want to think I should take a look at, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna be hopping back on Avius, and I messed up the recordings trying to record some more progress on the game. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to make another video of it other than to say, hey, everything's messed up. But at least for recording, it'll be like, let me skip 2 weeks and all this stuff I did in the server. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope there's many of you out there that are just as excited for Pikmin as I am, because it's a series that I wish Nintendo would produce more, because I don't think it's a very intensive game for them to develop, especially once you have all the assets of just making new maps and new additions to the storyline. So looking forward to Pikmin 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.